You're doing well. This is Tara Sullivan. This is my Floss Tube Sully Stitches, where I talk to you about my cross stitch. So this is Floss Tube number 31, and today is the last day of January, January 31st. So I was hoping to have two videos in January. I made it by this much. It still counts. Hopefully it'll upload in time, right? If not, then y'all can enjoy it tomorrow. But uh everything's been going good. We've had way too much weather for South Carolina, I'll be honest with you. It's snowing right now outside. I watch a lot of people who get snow all the time and they're like, oh, I hadn't snowed at all. I'm like, you're more than welcome to take it back. um, below 20 degrees and snow is not in my dance card. So we're surviving, but I, I I'm not a huge fan. But anyway, let's see. Hope everyone's been doing well. We're going into February, so I thought I would just kind of come on and show you some stuff that I got. I did get some pieces back fully finished. Got some progress on my blessing sampler. I didn't make it. Unfortunately, this week has been a week. I got sick. Not a flu, or I don't think. I think I had food poisoning, but it was really bad. I was really sick. I actually didn't even work Tuesday afternoon because I couldn't even think, and then Wednesday was a blur. So work has been very busy, and getting sick and not being able to work is just no fun at all. So at the end of this video, I'm going to do a Q&A. A lot of people submitted questions. Thank you so much. I'll try to go through those. If that's not your thing, then, me just rambling on. I'm sure it's not. That'll be at the end of the video. So you won't have to suffer through that too much. But who does watch me, thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. I went and got my nails done yesterday. You can't really see, but they're like, oh yeah, you can. So they're like Valentine, but they have like a like burn-in magnetic little heart that only shows in the light. Really cute. You guys know I love to go get my nails done. It's like my guilty pleasure. So, okay, enough rambling. Let's go. So, as I mentioned, I did get some fully finishes back from Faye Rigsby. Faye, who information is here. She's Carolina Stitcher on Instagram. Always list her in the description box below. So she has a finishing service. She does a lot of my finishes. She does a lot of people's finishes. But I'm lucky one to get some stuff finished by her as well. She did outstanding as always. So these are a few of the pieces that I got her to fully finish. So I thought I would share those today. So this is Teresa Kogut, my favorite elf. Love how she put the fabric here on the side with some trim. It's like a ruched ribbon or tack down ribbon, and then the rusty star, and then it's got jingle bell fabric on the back. So cute. I love all these. So this is with my needle and thread. This is January wordplay. There's one for every month. I've only stitched January and December. I really want to stitch April. They're all cute. I don't know if I'll stitch them all, but I wouldn't mind it in my spare time if I ever get spare time. So this is January wordplay. I did this one on 36 count, so it's a little larger than my other one that I have finished, and I'll show you guys that. But it's so cute how she did me, I'm a huge fan of the ruched ribbon. And then she did the back in this really beautiful fabric that kind of matches the front. And then she kind of mimicked like the buttons on a snowman's, little on the front of a snowman. As you can see, I'm from the South. We don't build a lot of snowmans. But the snowman front and mimic that. I think that's such a cute detail. A lot of people ask, why does she do stuff on the back? Because you can't see it. I love it. I love the detail. I'm a more is more kind of girl, and within reason. So it's always very special to me, especially since I do get these, done by someone else. So as I mentioned, this is December. This is on 40 count. Now you can see the difference in size between the two, and I do have a Q&A kind of question about that. But I mean, it's not a huge size difference, but it is pretty substantial. So this one is December I love the little candy cane button up here. Look at that. It's those details that kill me. The ruched ribbon. And then again, she mimicked like the back with little jingle bells on the back. And I love that backing fabric, the little holly. So I got that one back. This is a Scarlet House Frolic, I believe is the name of this pattern. Super cute. And it has just the rickrack that she tacks down. I like the rickrack when it lays down more than when it stands up. I mean, it's fine either way, but. And then a cute pocket on the back. I got the Believe, Erica Michaels, it's actually St. Nick is the name, Strawberry. How adorable. I don't have a lot of strawberries, so I think they're so cute. Which you can see, and then that's the back. I mean, just like how beautiful that seam down the back is. Ugh, it's just so pretty. So Believe Strawberry. This is another with needle and thread. I can't remember the name of it right now. They have I have a fall one too that was done. That it's a witch, but I think that one's Hilda's Alphabet Brew. I can't remember this one though. With that needle and thread. Super cute. I love like the backing. This one is, I believe this is on Coverlet Court by Scarlet House. Again, just a great fall piece. This is the back. And it's got the rickrack kind of ruched down as well. And then this one is so adorable. So this is Luminous Fiber Arts. This was it was called the Santa Stack, and it had a reindeer as well. I wanted to turn him into a little smaller piece, so I did him on 40 count and just did the Santa with the gifts in his hand, and then just added a couple more snowflakes, because like the reindeer head like come up here or whatever, but just added a few more snowflakes. And I love how Faye finished him into like a little bit larger pillow. I love this green color fabric on him. It's so fun for the holidays. She put the pocket on the front, which I think is adorable. And then that's the back. So cute. So, those are the things I got fully finished. I did hear from Jan as well. She has some of my pieces too, so those should be coming next week. So I'm excited to get those back. I did mention last time I did me like a buy me a coffee, and the links in my show description. So I was able to, put that funding towards my finishes. So I appreciate that. And then I had some new people donate this month or last time from the last video as well. So I just wanted to say a quick thank you to Melissa, Becky, Julie, Stacy, Janet, Jennifer, Carol, Karen, and Catherine. So thank you guys so much. It's very kind of you. If you want to, it's just a way to donate. You just go in to buy me a coffee and you just donate money, whatever you want or not. You don't have to. But I really appreciate it. So, so I have that. Next, I'm going to talk about kind of what I've been working on. It's not been a ton. I think last week I didn't get to stitch like 3 days, which is very unusual for me. I usually try to stitch almost every night. And it just... so what I did, so last weekend we were supposed to get a really bad ice storm here, which I know Nashville and I think Mississippi did. So if you're in those areas, I hope you're doing okay. I know power was out. We were supposed to get the same exact thing, but it ended up, changing at the last minute. So me and my family, we went down to Hilton Head, South Carolina, and spent a few days down there, did some shopping and, eating some shrimp and enjoying the seafood down there. And we go down there a lot. as a family. So it was fun just to kind of go down there off season when it's not so busy and just, it was cold down there too. I'm not going to lie. It's not like I wanted to go hang out on the beach, but it was still a good bit of fun. We had a good time. I got a new purse, which was nice. I needed a new purse, so I went and got a new Coach purse from the outlet down there. So I hadn't bought a purse since 2019. I was like, "Ooh, it's time." So let's see. So we've done that. So I went down there. I was down there like Saturday to Tuesday. And then when I came home Tuesday, I was very sick. So this week, just for my blessing sampler, I didn't think I was going to get it finished anyway. I knew it was a large one that I chose, but it's a piece that I've wanted to have finished. I know exactly where I want to put it in my house. It's beautiful. I can't wait to get it fully finished and framed. So I knew if I spent like a month focused on it, I'd get a lot of progress done, right? And I haven't decided, am I done with it yet? I don't think so. I think I'm going to continue on until I finish it, but it was fun to kind of just have it, see what I could get done in a month on a larger piece. So what I'm speaking of is my blessing sample for 2025, which is Goodness and Mercy. This is a Teresa Kogut pattern. It's so pretty. It is 268 by 286, so it's not giant, but it is pretty full, right? Not full coverage, but you know what I mean. So I am doing this on 40 count dirty teacup with the called for overdyed threads. I did mention last time that I had to get a couple additional threads. However, someone reached out and they had just finished it and they didn't need extras. So I guess I'm just wasteful with my thread. I don't know. But just in case, it just depends on how you stitch, how you form your X's. It could be a million different things, right? Do you play thread chicken? That kind of stuff. I don't, but I can understand trying to be, as sparing as you can to get through it. So even Teresa in the call for calls for like 2 of London Fog. The only one I've needed an extra one I think for is going to be the Celadon. I don't know how to say that. Celadon, the Weeks that kind of runs through. It's like the lighter green. Might not, but I figured I would have it just in case I got to that point. There's nothing worse if you're stitching late on a Friday night and you want to finish a piece and you're like, I don't have that thread. Okay, so just something to look out for. But this is my 2026 busing sampler, and this is my progress. I've done a couple of like daily kind of on Instagram, just showing you guys like this what I've stitched and what I've gotten done. Sorry, I did not iron it. Oh, I'm not even sorry. Didn't iron it this time. So you can see kind of my progress. The top is almost fully finished, the first 3 pages. I got to add like 2 birds up here, finish out like this border over here, and then fill in these trees, do a couple more sheep. Then I got some of this middle row done. I do still need to fill in this flower, the leaves of this flower, and then it's got another butterfly and then another berry bowl. And then I need to finish this row out here. Be careful on this row. Some of these leaves are different, so you really need to be looking at which one you're doing and not just think it's a pattern. I mean, if you did do it as a pattern, it doesn't matter. And then, of course, I've done all the words. And I brought some, so I've gotten the whole border done. Did meat, which was great. And then I brought down some of the green, which is that Celia Dawn. I'm saying that wrong, I know, but down. So I think I'm going to change the name. I don't know yet. I think I'm going to put Tara Sullivan and then 2026 on here. I think instead of the, what is on the pattern, which is Harriet Baker 1840, maybe. We'll see. Might get lazy and just do what's there. But since it's my blessing sampler, I kind of would like to personalize it a little bit. But anyway, that is my progress. So I started this on January 1st. I worked on it through the month of January. Pretty pretty monogamous. I am pretty monogamous. Sometimes I'll have a large and a small going. But I have some questions about that in my Q&A. But I'm really happy with the progress, and I'm happy. I've loved the stitch. If this is one you're thinking about doing, I highly recommend it. It is beautiful. So there we go. And then the only other thing that I've been working on some very little again is I've not had any lunchtime stitching. I've not even been able to take a lunch. So this is Oh Lucky Day with Thy Needle and Thread. I'd have finished one of those. I'd like to eventually finish the other two, but I'm working on the little leprechaun right now. I got a lot of progress on him, but it's just, timing. So, got to stitch when you can. And when you can't, it's sad. It's very sad. So we have that. Okay. So that's kind of what I've been doing. Some of the fully finishes I got back. I like to show those. I think that really helps when you got, and I still have Christmas up. I know. I'm cool with it. Like I said, this room is my craft room. I put whatever on these shelves I want. And I also get a ton of questions about this cart over here. So I will talk about this in my Q&A, but I get a ton of questions about it all the time. So I do have it linked below. It's a Michael's cart. It's one of the Michael's craft carts that has the wooden top that you can put on it as well. But those are when I have like patterns stored too. But when I'm kind of thinking about, really focusing on a pattern, I like to just kind of consolidate it some and kind of put it in a bag with the threads, usually not fabric or sometimes fabric if I bought it specifically for the piece. But those are not whips or anything that I've started. It's just kind of potentially my focus, right? Which I talked about before. So I'm going to get picked up. You guys know how I like to clean as I go. Get picked up. Well, you don't know, but I like to clean as I go. Get picked up, and then I'm going to come back and kind of talk about some stuff that I'm going to be looking at. I do have my giveaway for the Patriotic bag, so thanks all the comments for that. And for everybody that's joining my 250th kickoff for the Super Bowl, I appreciate that. So I'll be pulling that winner. And we'll talk some more things. I didn't order a lot this last month. Like I said, I've been kind of heads down, and goodness and mercy and markets coming. So I know I'll be probably getting into some fun with that. But I did order a few. So Sadie stickers, I've mentioned them before. They have a lot of stickers that I like. As I mentioned, I'm going to Stitch South, so I wanted to put like a little bit larger sticker in the things that I had for my table gifts. So I did order a few of these, just little small stickers to travel with them. I don't do the stickering like I used to do in my journal, near like I used to do. So I did mention last time that for the Super Bowl, I am going to be doing just a small patriotic piece if you'd like to join me. If you do start it and you do Instagram, if you want to tag me in Instagram, if you want to, use the hashtag 250th kickoff, all one word, that would be great. Totally up to you. But if you tag me, it's easier for me to see kind of what you're working on or what you chose. I've narrowed it down to 2. I've got all the threads pulled. So my 2 are either going to be Basket Full of Summertime by With Thy Needle and Thread. Love this piece. I got all the threads for it. Ready to go. I just have to pick a fabric. It's done on 40 count summer khaki. I might just do like Hemingway, I think. Like a 40 count Hemingway is what I'm kind of leaning towards. And then, or I'm going to do Erica Michaels, Sweet Freedom Berry. Do have all the colors for it pulled. That's pretty. And then this is Erica Michaels, Sweet Freedom Berry. I'll be doing the larger berry, not the smaller berry. If you stitch it, it's supposed to be on 40 count silk gauze. So it's actually 206 by 121. So it's very large, but it looks tiny because it's on 40 count silk gauze, which is over 1. I'm not doing that. So I'm going to do the larger berry. I do think like a giant, like you know how I've done it, so, and I've showed it before, the Blackbird has the giant fall berry that has the crow on it. I mean, it's huge. I do think having one of those giant berries for Patriotic would be pretty cool as well. So I have that. I did mention the last time that Katie, the Naptime Stitcher on Instagram, she does stitch the Winter Olympics. And I do link to her Etsy shop. This is free download on her Etsy shop. It's just this is just a piece of it. Stitch the Winter Olympics. She goes into all kinds of detail. She does all kinds of work for it. So thank you, Katie. It's great, everything that she does. And what I have tried to do is using kind of either my Christmas WIPGO or things that I have started, maybe one new start, because, you got to put one in there for fun. I did try to go through and kind of pick some of my plans for what I'm going to be working on those days. It's hard to know how much stitching I'm going to get every day in February. I'm hoping. But, I figured having a little bit of a plan, open plan, is a lot of fun. And I think Katie does a great job going into all this detail. I'm about to go watch, can't wait, on Netflix, what is it called? The Boys of the 80s. It's a sports documentary about the hockey team, the U.S. men's hockey team who beat Russia in the 80s. Can't wait to watch that. So I'm going to get me all pumped up for the Olympics, Winter Olympics. Even though, like I said, I'm done with the snow. Y'all can take it back. I don't want it anymore. So I do have just some kind of, maybe, I don't know if do I go through the whole list? I mean, that could be a little boring of the same project. I'll probably post them every day on Instagram, join in the fun that Katie does. But I'll do a couple, maybe the first 5. So the first one is 2/6, which of course is that Friday. It's the opening ceremony. So it's either a new start or something you started in 2026. For me, I have Goodness and Mercy. I have the Leprechaun. And then I also am going to talk about, I have a Christmas WIPGO, if I stick with that. Christmas WIPGO is still a little on my possibility list. I like it. I like the idea of it, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to fit. Like, for me, I like to make loose plans, just like everybody. I like to make loose plans. But sometimes I get distracted. But anyway, so for 2/7, which is the next day, that's the parade, which is a patriotic of any country. So I have my 1776 sampler, which is my large piece that I'm going to be focusing on for the 250th birthday. Birthday for the 250th celebration. It's a Teresa Kogut. Or another patriotic. So maybe the patriotic that I don't choose for my Super Bowl, I might start it. And then 2/8, which is the Super Bowl as well, and it's Winter Olympics, is Katie's, is the Naptime Stitchers piece, and that is anything like winter. So I'm definitely going to be starting my 250 Kickoff Small, and I might look at my Christmas WIPGO for that, and I'll mention those 2 pulls here in a minute. And then 2/9 is the Olympic Rings, which is anything blue, yellow, black, red, green. So Leprechaun works, Goodness and Mercy work, any of my Patriotic work. So you really can you know, a lot of people are like, well, I don't want to start something new every day of the Olympics. You don't have to. You can just kind of rotate through the projects that you're actively working on and really make them work in these categories. And I think that's the fun part, is trying to make them work in the categories, right? And then 210, I'll kind of cover that one. That's the mascot, so it's something with an animal. And I have goodness and mercy with my sheep. Hopefully I'm gonna be done by then, but we'll see. We'll see how far I make it. So that's kind of, I did go through and kind of write up all my plans to kind of narrow it down. If I do start anything, there's a category for a floral, or I think it's a floral or oh, it's funny. The closing is something you're going to complete in 2026, and I said all of them. Uh, yeah. So I have a flower or a floral. I really don't have a lot. I could do a whip that I have, which is like, I could do basket full of summertime because it does have florals on it, which is a patriotic. Or I really want to start. Mentioned this last time. This is the Scarlet House wallflowers. So I'm thinking about maybe adding this to my start for a spring. So we will see. So that's kind of what I'm looking at right now for plans. And like I said, I'll probably post on Instagram my progress, see how I'm doing. And then Christmas WIPGO this year, or WIPGO, they drew 5 and 22. So my 5 and my 22 were, the 5 is the Stacey Nash Winter Woodland Pin Keep Drum. I'm not going to do it on blue. I'm doing it on a different color. I'm not sure of the color yet, but I'm kind of leaning towards one. So I'm going to give that a try. And then that's the colors for it. And then 22 is, a lot of people have done this one. It's been very popular. It's one of our new releases with that needle and thread sweater weather. It would cover a lot of the Winter Olympic categories. It could be winter. It could be animals. It could be, floral, stitch towards gold. I mean, you can, that's the beauty of that challenge, is you really can make your pieces that you want to focus on really work, which is a lot of fun. So just gives you a fun challenge to look at. So I have that. The giveaway winner, I have pulled it. I need to get that for you. I did have some really kind mail. I was reached out to a viewer, and she was like, do you mind if I send you something? I'd like you to, have something. I was like, oh, that's very kind of you. And so she reached out and let me get her information. I always put it in the show notes as well, just so you have a place to reference it, but I like to give it. So Blanca reached out, and she is making project bags now. So she made me this great patriotic one from Teresa Kogut fabric with a handle. It's all quilted. Inside, it's a really good size. I love a little handle on it. And then she made me this one from French General fabric. Again, really pretty inside, back. And she is on Etsy, so she is Pink to Stitch 519 on Etsy. Pink to Stitch 519 on Etsy.com. So thank you so much. After I got them yesterday, after a rough week, they were really, really nice. And they are a little bit different sizes. This one's a little bit larger than this one, but I love that. So they're still a great size for your projects. So thank you so much again. So I'm going to get the information for the giveaway winner, and I'll be back with that. Then kind of what I've been watching, I do that. And then I want to kind of go into my Q&A. So thank you guys so much. So the giveaway winner this time, was for the 250 kickoff. It was these really pretty 2 bags that I got at StitchCon from Nana Kay. They're great. Love the fabric. She does wonderful bags. So little accessory bags. So the winner is Sandy, Sandy Marks, Marks 1366. Again, Sandy Marks 1366 is the giveaway winner. Thank you so much for everyone who participated, who say they're doing the kickoff. I really appreciate it. And Sandy, if you will, my email will be in the description box below. Please email me your address, and I'll get these out to you after the snowstorm. Be a while. So we have that. Okay. So I thought I would kind of go into my Q&A now. It's going to be a lot of me talking. So again, these are just my opinions on how I stitch. I'm definitely not the expert. This is just what works for me kind of over the years. So I'm going to kind of get some stuff pulled together because you guys asked me about how do I store stuff. How do I, do my threads and all kinds of fun things. So let me get all that together and then I will get on with it. We're going to see how many questions I get through this time. Do I think you guys are bored with me? And then I'll probably, add some more Q&A to another video, but we'll see how long this is. So I had a question on like my progression of stitching, and that's from Emily at Shady Grove. Thought it was funny. So as I mentioned before, I learned to stitch when I was about 12, 13 from a neighbor. Me and my mother learned to stitch at the same time. I do have a question about my mom too. Me and my mother learned to stitch at the same time. It stuck with me like glue. I finished mine. I finished hers. I was looking for anything I could stitch. I think I started with a bookmark from there used to be like these hardback books back in the day that had tons of patterns in them. And I think I stitched like everything in that hardback book. I think it was a Leisure Arts. I can't remember for sure, but kind of started there. I put it down. I didn't really stitch again until I was about 25. Came back to Greenville's, I had been in Greenville a while. I started kind of working professionally, and I was like, man, I really need to get in like a hobby or, we had a local cross stitch store called Panda's Crossing. I was like, man, maybe I'll go in and like look at the stitching stuff. And I took a linen class there. Wow, a long time ago. It was Elizabeth design. It was like 4 seasons. Really, really pretty piece. I still have it hanging. It hangs on the wall, like going between my kitchen and my eat-in space in my kitchen because it's a very large piece because it is 4 seasons. They were band samplers. You learn a lot of specialty stitches on linen, so that's why it was really a good class to have. And that kind of started off. I got it framed in Rock Hill at Stitch and Frame, which was a shop in Rock Hill, and I just kind of went from there. I did a lot of what was in the shop at the time, right? Like you didn't have the internet or access to FlossTube or any of the great things. So you kind of stitched what you saw locally. At least I did. Like I didn't, there was no way to see these kind of other things. So stitched kind of locally, not really the big box stores, not like Hobby Lobby or any of those kinds of things. I stitched a lot of around here, a lot of Lizzie Kate, which I still love my Lizzie Kates. I did a lot of Barbara and Cheryl, which was local Charleston designer, Charleston, South Carolina designer. I'm from Greenville, South Carolina, which is the upper part of the state. But they had taken like a lot of the prints like Rainbow Row or Verandas of South Battery and turned them into cross stitch. So I did Verandas of South Battery. I did Rainbow Row. They're still hanging at my mother's house. I probably need to bring them over here. They're, large pieces. So I did that. And then I'll never forget, I learned as I went, right? And I learned as I met more people who were stitching. So, back then I was the baby in the group, but it was amazing because I never forget. I had Rainbow Row professionally finished at like Michael's. and matted. It's pretty, but I carried my birds, like the birds at the top, so you can see like the black thread through the back. So I kind of learned my lessons. That those were probably Ada, I think, or even weave, and then a lot of Barber and Cheryl full coverage. They are big scenes, big Charleston scenes, and they are full coverage. A lot of them. So did that, and then I kind of did Lizzie Kate, and then I got into Mill Hills because that was big at my local store. A lot of the Miras. I did a lot of Miras. I still love my Miras. My Fancy Ladies. Did those. And then I kind of, found out more about the prim stitching. What they need on thread, Blackbird. I was late to all those games because that wasn't really something that was local to me. So that's kind of how I started and my transition through stitching. I'm a big stitch what you like, when you like, however you feel. If you want to go back to a Fancy Lady, I might. I mean, I never know what might be calling my name, and so that's why it's hard to kind of make yearly plans for things because for me, this is a hobby. A big hobby that I love. I love the community. I hope you can tell I love to talk about cross stitch. I really enjoy it. It keeps me sane a lot of the times, as sane as I can be. So for me, it's my de-stressor, right? I have a pretty stressful job. I'm in IT. IT can always be stressful. So anyway. So let's see. So Emily wants me to show this fabric cabinet right here. So I may do a video at the end kind of showing that. It's not perfect. I got that cabinet at IKEA. I wanted it closed up. I didn't want glass. It's by a window, especially with fabric. I have on the top, I have cross stitch fabric. Now, again, this is not a perfect way to do it. This is how I do it. So I wanted them in clear boxes, and I can link all this stuff. I have an Amazon shop, but this is the clear box that I have, and you can see it's not perfect. It's not great. I'm not going to spend the time ironing all my fabric and folding it in. I'm as neat as I need to be, is what I claim. Organized chaos. So this is my lakeside linen. I have just one of these tabs that sit on. These are paper. This is an insert. This is a paper tab. You can just, change this out, insert it in, and then I have these boxes. They fit perfectly on my shelf. I measured my shelves to see what box could I fit on my shelf that was clear plastic to make it work for my shelves. And then I just have it in here. So I put all my 36 and my 40 together. That's really what fabric I go to. I do have some 32 and some 28. I put that in a separate cabinet. I have a lot of it. I'm not going to get rid of it yet, right? Unless it's colors. I used to do a lot of crazy colors because I did Fancy Ladies. So I'm not going to get rid of it yet because I might go back to 32 and 28. Never know with sight. Let's see. So those are in there, and then I have my fat quarters that I'll sometimes buy fabric too, even though I don't sew. I do buy fabric. I like it. Because it disappears. You can't find it anymore. So you never know what might happen in 10 years. So if I like it, I buy finishing fabric, right? Not probably never gonna quilt, or I might send some to a finisher to make me some project bags, right? But I used to pick the backing fabric for my finishes. I don't do that much now anymore. I kind of just trust my finishers to do what they need to do. But you can't always do that. If you're doing professional finishing, they will gladly take if you have a certain backing fabric you want to use. But they do better than I ever thought about. So that's why I let the experts do what they're supposed to do. Okay, let's see. Where do I live? So I live in Greenville. I think I mentioned this, Greenville, South Carolina. I was born and raised here. I grew up in a small town. It's just a county of Greenville, Malden, South Carolina. I went to Malden High School. I was never coming back to South Carolina, like Greenville, South Carolina after college. I went to the University of South Carolina in Columbia. I know that was not far, but for me, that was the big city. And then I got a job. So I got a job. I was with the same company 12, 13 years. And then they outsourced, and I went to it's funny because the company that I work for is a retail grocer. They own like 33 brands, very large retail grocer. We have like 210,000 employees. I think we're like we're a large retailer in the world, and so they had a local office here. They sold the company that I worked for. And then, I worked for that company. And then when they outsourced and decided to move to Florida, I stayed here. They moved to Jacksonville area. I stayed here and got a job with the old parent company. So I was in infrastructure IT for a long time. I did voice, network, data center facilities. And then I I moved to email and collaboration, which done some really large rollouts of transitioning emails to different platforms. So I did that. And then probably, I can't remember when, but with my new company, I moved to the service delivery space, and I managed the application that we manage service delivery on. So it's called ServiceNow. So it's probably boring. I do have my PMP. I'm a project manager, professional project manager. I'm certified for the state. I sit on a board for the state for PMP as well. So other hobbies. I really don't have other hobbies across stitch. That's why I get a lot done. People are like, why you get so much done? I'm like, I'm not distracted. So I don't really have any other hobbies. I used to do memory planning, so journaling. Some people can say that's a hobby. I like to read. I listen now more than anything. I like a lot of true crime, and I like a lot of TV to watch. I've probably seen it. There's very few shows anybody tells me about that I hadn't seen and have an opinion about. I do try to temper my opinions because they're, who cares? I'm going to be way too honest in this. Let's see. My favorite designer is probably Brenda Gervais with Thy Needle and Thread. There's a lot of great designers. It's hard to pick one. But Brenda, just for me, is just great stitching. Love her smalls. I think she has a great color. I think the way she finishes things is wonderful. I love Teresa Kogut. I love, like I said, I love all kinds of designers, especially when you've been stitching upwards of 25 years. And I think that's a lot of people are like, wow, you have so much done. I've been stitching 25 years. So, I have a lot of stash. I've been stitching 25 years. So it's not like it all happened overnight. I show you guys everything. People laugh because they're like, wow, you still have that piece. You still kept, like, I know a lot of people who have like sold pieces or given pieces away that are older, and I keep it all. So I used to give stuff as gifts, and I don't even do that anymore. Learned kind of the hard way that non-stitchers really don't appreciate stitching, and so I really don't give it away. Let's see. I get a lot of questions about how do I stitch? I think people think I have a secret or I know something that I'm not sharing on how I stitch quickly. So for me, it's just like anything. So I used to be a gamer, used to play games, especially with my nephews when they were younger. Hand-eye coordination, right? Like you become better and faster the more you do something. I think maybe I'm wrong, but I try not to let myself get distracted. I try to stay off my phone. When I disconnect for the night, if I can, I am really present in what I'm doing. That brings me joy, right? So how do I stitch? A lot of people don't understand how I keep my tension so tight because I stitch in hand. And I should have brought a piece. Maybe I'll answer this. Maybe I'll do this one after. Let me get, I forgot to bring a piece over, and I don't think I have one here. And I maybe could show you on a that's not going to help. like I said, I'm trying to learn, I'm trying to get, not learn, I know how to do it probably, but I'm trying to get more top down recording, more like stitch with me recording setup, because it's all in the setup. If I just do it like where you can't see nothing, then what's the point, right? So I'm really, but I have to have the time to do that. When learning those new camera angles and what works from a recording perspective, it and editing, it takes time. So bear with me, but that is a goal that I have for this year. It's only January, so it's not like it will be something that I get comfortable with and familiar with by the end of 2026. It's something I definitely want to do. I have bought some new overhead ways to record. I have bought some new tripods, so I'm hoping that that is going to help. So, how do I stitch? Let's see. So, how do I balance my whips? So, I am not someone who carries a lot of whips. The whips that I carry are usually because I kind of started something late in the season. I try to stitch ahead of the season now some, but I'm real bad about stitching in season. So I have been for years. So how do I balance my whips? I really work on it until it's done. I mean, I don't, how do I say that? I mean, how do you, I kind of just work on what I want to work on when I want to work on it. I think that's the big thing. Like, I think if you put too much pressure on yourself to get something done, if you feel bad that you've started something and you really need to work on it, if something brought you joy at some point in time and now it's not, you feel bad because you've invested money in it. I'm a big stitch what you're feeling, right? Like, yes, I set goals sometimes, but I'm not stringent in those goals. I'm not going to do that to myself with my hobby, and I think a lot of people say that, so not like I've made that up. But I guess I balance my whips by kind of working on, the big thing is, what do I see on my wall next? Like, or what do I really want to have fully finished next? Like last year, it was I really wanted some spring pieces because I didn't really have a lot for smalls. And I still don't have a lot for smalls, but I wanted some spring pieces. I want some every day. I do a lot of seasonal stitching. I like it. I enjoy it. I don't feel bad about it. So, the big thing with seasonal stitching, you don't have to put it all out, right? Like, I think sometimes we feel like we've taken the time, we've stitched it, we need to put it out at some point in time. But really, if you pare it down and switch it out every year, it's fun. It's still fun to decorate that way. Um, you know, where was I hanging Little Birds? So Little Birds was on my mantle for a long time. And then I think I'm going to hang it over my desk. In my office, I have a grate, like right above my desk, there's a great wall in between two windows. And I think that's where I'm going to hang Little Birds permanently. Or I have like y'all have seen it. I have a shelf, one of the Party Barn shelves that usually I decorate seasonally. And then I always put up a piece that like I have like everyday pieces in there as well, like tomatoes or sewing things. I love that cabinet. I love to decorate it. It might go above there. So definitely in my office somewhere. I will make a choice. Does my mom stitch or sew? So no. So my mother will not sit still long enough to stitch or sew. She is always moving. Like, she's 85 and she's always moving and shaking. She does a lot of yard work. She loves yard work. She loves gardening. She's a good old farm girl. So she grew up on a farm. They were always moving, and you can tell that she likes to move. And she loves Hallmark movies. Um, Someone asked me, how do I get good tension with the poke and stab method? I've never had a problem with it. Again, I stitch in hand. I don't really sew. I can sew sometimes if it's a big area, but sometimes my stitches do not look as nice when I sew. So I'm more of a poke and stab. Uh, again, I done it for years. And I'll show you guys. I roll up the fabric to where I'm working at, hold it, with this hand, and then I stitch with my right hand. Um, I've never had a problem with tension. If I see a place that looks like it pulled through or that I didn't do well with, I take it out. I fix it. So, you know, let's see. So, how do I store my linen stash patterns floss? So, my floss have no perfect way, but these are refrigerator cases. I have them like by week style works, like, H to Z. I do them in alphabetical order. I have some Flossway bags, but I don't like them. I'm transitioning those out. So I like a 3x4 jewelry bag. I put them in here, I line them up, and if I'm looking for a color, I just go through here. Now, once I pull it, I just pull it for the ring. I cut it and, put it that way. So that's kind of how I do all of my variegated cotton. My DMC are in one of the DMC boxes, and I just go pull them. I am winding some on floss drops because it is easier to stitch with them that way once you're done, but I don't like it. I don't like doing it. It's not for me. But I will do it just for the benefit of stitching, pulling one thread when you need to. It's great. I store my patterns, some of them, again, if they have, I can never figure out which way to point, but if they have kind of struck my interest in a season or every day, I will put them in a project bag, put them in the cart. If I've kind of kitted them up fully, but then I have these fabric boxes that I bought from Amazon. I have this little, like, it's just a chip label or a kitchen label that I've wrote on, that's on the erasable Sharpie, like, whatever they're called. So I store these I used to have them all by designer and magazine folders. Worked okay. But when you have something kitted, it really wasn't great. So I took my IKEA shelf transition to the fabric boxes, and I do them by season. So I have some seasonal. The fabric that I have a lot of, like fox and rabbit or cross stitch fabric that I have a lot of, like fox and rabbit or needle and flax, I do have on the bottom shelf these same fabric bags, and I line my fabric up in them. Because those are my kind of go-tos that I use. So let's see what time we're at. Ooh, I've been talking 20 minutes. Okay, how do I press pieces? So there's a lot of controversy with this. A lot of people don't iron their stuff. I get it. I understand. It presses down threads. Gotta be real careful if you do beading, anything of that nature. When I get something framed, I don't want it to have that line in it or a wrinkle in it. Framed or fully finished. I'm not a fan, guys. So I iron. Invest in a good iron. I don't use, someone asked, do I use fabric spray, something like, I don't use any of that. No, a lot of people do. Again, nothing against it. It's just not for me. I have a very hot iron. I iron it backwards. I don't put down a pressing cloth. I'm real bad. I use steam. Ooh, with overdyed. I know, living on the edge. I've only had one piece ever run in 25 years. Again, it was red. My fault. I wet too much, but I will sometimes spray like on the outside of the stitching where you've kind of rumpled it up, like because I stitch in hand, so I rumple them up pretty bad. I don't really store them in project bags though, so a lot of times mine will not have like creases through them once I start stitching. Before I start stitching, I iron it really good, really, really, really well, and then hot iron, linen, steam, and I press and go. But again, I don't want to ruin anybody's piece, so never do anything that you are not comfortable with, right? This is what I do. And someone asked me, but so someone asked me, how do I pick and choose the size of my fabric when I start a project. So the big thing is a calculator, right? So there are apps, there are websites, like different cross stitch apps have calculators for you. I really recommend using those apps. So I think Fat Quarter Shop has one. I think 123 Stitch has one. And I know other like apps that you've downloaded if you do any type of storage of your patterns or anything have them. All you do is you put in the stitch count, how much of a margin you want, what size count fabric you have. Now, if they're asking me like, why do I sometimes choose 36 and sometimes I choose 40? Really, some of it is that certain fabrics are tighter weave for me for 36, for 40, and it's harder for me to see. So I don't want to struggle trying to see something because that makes it no fun. Like if I'm constantly missing stitches, if I can't, for me, that makes it no fun. If I was younger and had better eyes, maybe that would be different. But I always use magnification. I always use light. I do sometimes have readers when I'm at work, but I can't see as well with the readers. I'm a real magnification and light. I have a floor lamp upstairs and downstairs, and then I have a table lamp. I use the daylight lamp. They have them, used to have them on Amazon, but I know they have them at Silver Needle as well. They're the 4 model. They're the 3-in-1. You can make it a table lamp. You can make it a floor lamp. But I use the floor lamp. And I think the magnification on it's like a 2. I don't know what the magnification on it is. But it's really the combination of magnification and light for me. I wish I could see better without, because when I used to not use it, it did make traveling a lot easier. But that's just the way I'm comfortable now. And I really want to be able to see my stitches. And maybe that's why people say my work's neat. It's because I can see so well. When I'm doing readers, I sometimes look at it and I'm like, ooh, what's that stitch? But again, that's how I do it. But because she said sometimes she picks a piece and then she picked wrong. So I'm thinking she means like size of it. Like she didn't pick a large enough piece of linen. I usually work on almost everything's fat quarters. I do have to sometimes have fat halves. I never work on a yard of linen. It's not comfortable for me because I stitch in hand. I mean, it's okay. Like I can ball it up and do, but, a fat quarter or fat half's really comfortable for me. But sometimes the 36 or 40 is because of the size I want it to be as well. Like if it's a small and I want it in a certain double or, I imagine it somewhere with other pieces, sometimes I want it a different size. Like, so sometimes I'll do 36 to make it a little larger or I'll do 40. It's just wherever the wind blows me, I guess. But I don't like, and I think this is a reason I don't start a lot of projects. Wow, this is a lot of opinions. The reason I don't start a lot of projects is because I can start quick, right? Like I make a decision on fabric, I start it fast, and I don't need a lot of starts because I can start within probably too quick sometimes. Make a decision on fabric, go ahead and just move forward. But that's me, right? That's why I probably don't carry a lot of starch or whips because I'm really ready to go pretty much whenever. Having stitched so much. How do I get so many projects done? I mean, yeah, I work full time. I have a pretty busy life. I don't have family. Someone asked me, am I married? Do I have a boyfriend? That's always a strange question for me. Not strange. Strange is not the right word, but an interesting question for me. But no, I'm not married. I don't have a boyfriend. I have a lot of family. I have a lot of nieces and nephews. I spend time with them. I'm very busy, but I make the time to cross stitch. Like, it's the thing I want to do. So for me, it's, if someone's over and we're having dinner, I might go walk over to the couch and still talk to them, but stitch while they're here. Like, it doesn't my family's used to it. They're like, oh, tear stitching. We know. So, I try to stitch almost every night after work, get a couple hours in. I used to be a night owl, so that really helped. Back when I only needed like 6 hours of sleep, that was great. 5 and 6, I like it. I like to sleep too much now, but I used to stay up late and I used to get up early and I used to stitch. Job's a little more challenging now, so that's harder because you got to be able to think. So I don't know how I get so many projects done. I don't really think. I mean, I stitch a lot of smalls too, right? So when you're stitching smalls, it's not, you can't compare me to someone like Rachel Needle and Flax who does these monsters. Every project she chooses is 300 by 300, and or like a saw box, and they get so much done on those projects. But they're giant. I mean, you see. I mean, I just did one about that size, and it takes over a month of just straight stitching. So, I don't know. I just I stitch. Am I stitching anything special for the 250th? I am. I'm doing the 1776 sampler by Teresa Kogut. I want to have that one done before July 4th. So someone asked me, she knows a lot of floss tubers have trouble with mean comments, and do I get mean comments? I do. People are going to take shots when you're on the internet. I think the thing about me though is I grew up in IT. Like I said, I'm an IT manager. I've been in it since 1998. There ain't probably nothing no one can say to me online that hasn't been said to my face over the years. It is what it is. I think I try to remind myself that those comments are probably nothing to do with me and a lot to do with who's making them. Maybe they're just having a bad time or a bad day, and try to move forward. Some of them hurt. I mean, some of them they're not fun. Like, right? Like it's not what you're doing this for. So I just, people don't, I think sometimes don't realize like when you have a comment or when you get an email or something, you can't hear inflection, you can't hear tone. I can't see the person's face. So sometimes I might read it wrong too, right? Like I might have taken it offensively when they didn't even mean anything by it. So some pretty blatant and obvious though. But I think there's tons of floss tubers for everyone, tons of stitchers forever, tons of people. Getting online and sharing yourself, it can be daunting. It can be hard. I'm so glad for the people that do it, and because I really enjoy floss tube. I really enjoy the stitching community. So I'm glad that people take the time to do that. But it can sometimes be interesting, right? So my problem is that if people who know me in person know that I don't mind conflict. I kind of enjoy it, and so I have to be very careful not to get into a back and forth kind of war, because that's kind of what they're looking for, right? So I don't really like giving people who misbehave what they want. So just kind of move forward. No one's ever going to watch me again after all these comments. I should have never done a Q&A. How do I stitch? How do I stitch? Oh, so how do I stitch houses? So I love to stitch a house, like goodness and mercy. So I'm a big like build the house and then do all the fill in. But like when I do fill in like between the windows, like I might just come up here and do all these and then move across the row. So when I stitch, I don't stitch unless it's really variegated and it's really going to add a lot. Even with variegated thread, I don't stitch single X at a time. I don't, again, love how my X's lay when I do that. So I'm a big finished product kind of person. I want it to look neat and I want my stitches to look nice. And sometimes they don't. I mean, sometimes it's where there's a flub in the fabric. There can be 1,000 things that make it hard to make your stitches lay perfectly. And I'm not going to railroad. I don't got the time for that. I think people who do is beautiful. but I can't do all that. So like I literally just when I'm stitching even variegated, they call it Danish or it's got some name, I don't know. But I go across and I come back. Like so but I'm real bad about like sometimes if I get bored, like especially like in a house, and I don't really get bored with filling. I really love filling. It's one of my favorite things, especially late at night after work. I think filling is great. Or if you're at a retreat or something like that, you're trying to, hang out. I kind of will go in between the windows and then I'll go the row all the way across. So like I'll start building the row. Like I'll come across to where I have like the windows in between the two windows. I'll go straight down that one window, go all the way up and back, and then I'm back to where I was. Come down to the next window, do exactly the same thing. I don't think I'm any different than anyone else, but that's kind of how I do some of that. My stitching setup, pretty basic. I mean, I got a light, I got my laptop. I have a 40-inch or 70-inch TV over on the wall over here, but I watch on my laptop a lot of times. Laptop, and then I just kind of always have something watching or listening to when I stitch. And then I probably never watch TV. Like if it has subtitles, I'm out. Can't do it and stitch at the same time. I have to do those on planes when I'm flying because I can't stitch on a plane. But I have my magnification. Always have magnification and light. I do have a lot of people have noticed it like a yellow. One of Lori Holt's magnet boards that for like cookbooks or quilt books. I have that sitting on my couch in the middle section. My feet are always up because my couch reclines and puts the feet up. That was a big thing that I wanted to purchase when I kind of designed my craft room several years ago. And that's really it. So yes, I always use magnification and light. I use a daylight, and like I said, I know they have them on Silver Needle. I think you can get some sometimes on Amazon, but I want them really light. I bought some before from Amazon, and they're very heavy, and I don't like them. That's why I like the daylight. Siblings. So yes, I have a brother and a sister. My brother is 3 years older than me. My sister's 7 years older than me. I am the baby of the family. If you can't tell, it's kind of funny. I'm the baby, but I boss everybody around. So, I do a lot of the hosting, probably because I'm single, right? It's better to get everybody over here, and then my mom's here a lot, so that helps. But for events, we get together a lot. We're a very close family. My father passed away 18, 19 years ago now, so, anyway, very close family, and my sister has 3 children, 2 sons and 1 daughter, and she now has 3 great grands. And then my 2 girls and 1 boy, and then my brother has 2 children as well. So lots of fun with them. And then I come from a very large family. I think that also helps with the mean comment. So I was the youngest grandkid on both sides of my parents' families, which when I say large, I mean large, like large farm families, right? Everybody had 4 and 5 kids. You had a lot of cousins. There's a lot going on. If you wanted to play, you better be kind of a little tough because that's when you're the youngest and you get picked on a lot. So I don't mind getting picked on. I think for me, it's like a love language. Like I laugh about it. But if you pick, you better be prepared to get picked back on. So, anyway, big family, grew up in a big family. My mom is from the middle part of the state, Newberry, which is a big farmland. They had big dairy farm down there, which my uncle still owns. And then my father was from the Greenville area. So, come from a lot of South Carolina. If I could only pick one designer who, again, probably Brenda Gervais. I enjoy her stuff. I feel like it's not that daunting or that serious to get into. It's kind of answer that. My stitchy spot. I really just need light magnification. Do I stitch in hand? 100%. I used to use Q-snaps. I've used Q-snaps. I've never been a big, If I did use a Q snap, especially when I did my mirrors, they would have to be the size of the piece. Like right, like I never like putting my stitching the Q snap over my stitches. Just me. Again, I know I've had tons of friends who do that. It looks great. They never have a problem with it, but that's just me. But yes, I stitch in hand, and I definitely use a magnifier. And one of my favorite toppings for a potato bar, chili, cheese, sour cream. Ooh, I love a chili baked potato. Broccoli and cheese, Velveeta. So those are kind of my favorite toppings for a potato bar. Do I rotate my dough bowls? Yes. So usually up here, definitely. I always kind of go with the season, or I have every day, right? Out here, I do put that downstairs some as well. Just kind of depends on where, where I'm looking. I have a lot of like cabinets and shelves. So I do try to do that. I want to hang some more of the hanging picture frames downstairs so I can change out cross stitch pieces. I have someone willing to come do it. I just got to get my act together. How do I store my other seasons? I have a closet in my bonus room that I store a lot of the seasonal pieces in. The smalls that I will just put those in boxes, some under the bed, my guest bedroom, or I have all these shelves over here that I'll put them in. You can see the like IKEA cabinet here, and then I'll just kind of put them wherever. I like how I was watching Chrissy Crosshouse quilts and like her favorite season's fall. So like in her craft room, she has fall up all the time. I love that, and I might start doing something like that on my tables and stuff with the smalls because I don't have a lot of everyday smalls, and they already have a space in my office that I get to enjoy every day when I'm downstairs working. How do I find time to stitch? I make it. I tell people you gotta go. I gotta go stitch. No. I make the time. Like again, it's what I like to do. I mean, my house is probably not the cleanest. I probably could clean better. Yeah. It's clean. I mean, it's not like it's dirty, but I don't really. I'd rather stitch. Like so, I stitch. Do I decorate with smalls? Yes, I do. I like to decorate with smalls. I like to put something on my mantle, a stitch piece on my mantle, different things. And I've kind of showed that with my walkthroughs. I do a lot during the seasons. Every day is tougher. That's fun. Do I ever lose my stitching mojo? Nope. I am thinking about or wanting to stitch almost 100% of the time. So if I can't, like, yesterday was very stressful with work. It's going on right now as well. I can see the emails coming in. I was like, I gotta, it was 5:30. I was like, I gotta go upstairs for a little while and playing some fun. So I didn't sit down and stitch. I was just playing with stash and organizing some stuff. And yeah, I don't really lose my mojo for stitching. I know a lot of people do. There's certain nights I just can't do it. Just like anything, it's just been stressful. I can't do it, but I never lose it for long periods of time. And I think if you are losing maybe your mojo, maybe you need to have more projects, right? You need to kind of enjoy what you're doing. Like if you love to have 100 whips and rotate through those whips, do it. Who cares? Like if you're like me, you like a finish. That's really where like even when I used to run and mentor a running group. It was a lot of horse to the barn. I was always the fastest my last leg because I wanted to get done. What do I have any suggestions for an aided linen stitcher? Start small. Start not so complex, right? I think even, go to 28. Like a lot of people transition through the sizes 28 to 32 to 36 to 40. Like, that's fine. Use magnification, use light. And, just once you get in the habit of doing it'll become second nature, I believe. Someone asked me how to understand a style. So a style is just like a stitch along or a start along. It's just something fun to do in the community to kind of get. I find out most of them through FlossTube or through Instagram. She asked me if there's like, is there a schedule of them? No, not that I know of. Now maybe there is, and somebody's gonna tell me about it. But I'm sure somebody might does. I know like Roberta of the Sable Stitchers, she does like a retreat on her website. So I don't think she does Sal's, but again, it's probably out there. But it's really for me just word of mouth, grassroots. I hear about it and I'm like, oh, that'd be fun. Let's jump in that. And I think that's why we try to mention them on FlossTube where when we see them. And how do you connect? Big way for me is through Instagram or FlossTube through YouTube. So, whew, that's all of them. So the only thing I really need to do is stop, show you how I kind of stitch, and then go from there. So, you, if you're still with me, thank you. I'll be right back. Kind of show how I stitch or the way that I stitch. So as I mentioned, I have a large piece here, right? And I'll get better with this and do some more detailed. But like right now, the big thing that I am stitching on is filling in these leaves of this flower, right? So what I do is I'm a top left starter. So what I do is I really just, and that's why my piece kind of always folds up. I roll the piece to where I'm working on. So it's really no kinds of rocket science, but I roll the piece to where I'm working on and I hold this in hand. Sorry, I should get this in camera better. So I hold this in hand and then I just work on this piece where I'm at. Again, it's not a Q-snap or anything to that nature or a hoop, but my tension is okay. Like I don't know what I do. Yeah, it's not perfect, but it looks pretty good. So, I work on it. And like, if I come over here and I'm going to work on these trees, I roll it up even more and I work on the trees. It doesn't bother me to have this fabric down here because I'm up here working, right? Like, so, I hope that helps some. I know I'm not demonstrating, but, that is kind of just how I hold my piece and work on it. So, I hope that helps some. If you have more questions, let me know. I did take a picture for somebody the other day and kind of sent it to them because they had some specific, questions. And again, I'm working on like how to film top down or how to film more where I can kind of show you guys. But I just, sit down and just stitch. Making little exits, right? But I hope you've enjoyed my Q&A. I know I rambled a lot. Sorry about that, guys. I hope I got all the questions answered. Like I said, please still continue to watch me. Hopefully I didn't offend anybody or say anything wrong, but I'm known to kind of be pretty vocal and give my opinion sometimes. Where I even get sick of myself. So kind of what I've been watching is Traders, love it. Pitt. I've been watching Abbott Elementary. I love that show. It's just a nice, light, funny show when you need one. I've watched Sister Wives. They're doing like the tell-all right now. All right. Really over it. Bridgerton's new season. I've only watched 2, but it's really good. Like I said, after this, I'm going to go watch The Boys of the 80s and do some stitching. Can't wait. And then I watched 7 Dials on Netflix. Maybe I need to give it another try, but only got through like episode 1.5, and I'm like, ugh, not really feeling it. So that's really everything that I have. Thank you guys so much. I do have 12,000 subscribers now, which is unbelievable. I can't believe that. Everyone who's donated to buy me a coffee, thank you so much. Everyone who's watching my videos, thank you so much. If you're new here, welcome. I should have said that a long time ago. Normally I don't do that much talking. I'm usually more of a let's show what I got kind of girl. So, that's fun. And, again, if you have any questions, I'm glad to try to answer them, anything that I can, so thank you guys. And I hope everyone has a great February. I am going to Stitch South if the weather permits. I don't drive in the snow, so if it's snowing, I ain't going. So we shall see. Hopefully, it'll clear up by then. No matter what, I'm taking those days off. I was supposed to take Friday off yesterday, and I worked about 9 hours. So let's see. I'm going to be doing the 250th kickoff. Please tag me if you're doing a Patriotic Small. I would love to see it. Getting does nothing but inspire me to stitch other fun things. So, y'all have a great day. I'm going to try to, again, record potentially twice in February. That's again, my videos are probably, well, this one's really long because I ran my mouth, but other than that, normally they might not be as long, but, hopefully I'll have more than one project to show you, or it still might be goodness and mercy. It might be done. It might be at the framer. Who knows? But anyway, thank you guys. I appreciate it. I appreciate all the support and all the kindness, and I hope you guys have a great rest of January. What's left of it, it's finally ended. So thank you guys. Have a good one.